The video you're about to see is being aired both on the Chat Sports YouTube channel and on our Packers YouTube channel as we are ramping up the coverage on there. We'll be live on both channels for the Packers-Eagles playoff game. If you want more free Packers coverage, hit that sub button, youtube.com/@PackersTV. As a reminder, this video being posted on both our Packers channel and on the Chat Sports YouTube channel, so a little bit more focus to Green Bay in today's preview as we ramp up coverage on our Packers channel. The Eagles, though, are favored in the wild card round. The Eagles are 4.5-point favorites in this particular matchup. Game going on Sunday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and very much a classic NFC time slot for the postseason. This is, I think, one of the best playoff matchups we're going to get. Now, injury question marks exist. We'll get to those here in just a little bit. But both of these teams have top 8 offenses and top 8 defenses. Both teams look like, I think, real threats in the postseason. There are question marks that exist around both teams. The Eagles are the 2 seed. The Packers kind of backing into the postseason with a tough loss against the Chicago Bears. It is a rematch of the first game of the season, actually. So you're going to have the old season ends and begins the same way for one team against each other. Eagles won that week 1 matchup 34-29. This is a different Eagles team, a different Packers team, too. They got the ball to Jaden Reed a lot. The Eagles have adjusted their nickel corner stuff. Cooper DeJean's much better there. Packers have struggled against man coverage. We'll talk about that. Eagles have been a little bit less turnover prone as well after a slow start for Jalen Hurts. That's why they're favored at home in this one. Let's talk injuries on this front. First up, Zane Anderson and TJ Slayton. This is based on the Wednesday injury report. That's the most recent one we have before filming. Did not participate. Those are the only DNP. So I would anticipate, because in general, if you're limited on Wednesday, it means you're going to play. You're going to play on Sunday. I would anticipate Javon Bullard. Edge Cooper kind of a really good game, by the way. I really like what I've seen from Cooper as of late. Andre Dillard, we'll see. Concussions are always a bit murky there. Quay Walker and also Jordan Love will all play. Love was a full participant. Kind of sounds like the elbow injury was more of like the old funny bone more than anything else. So that's really good news for Green Bay because he's good and they need him. Go figure, right? Eagles, meanwhile, again, everything sounds pretty positive here. Jalen Hurts working his way through the concussion protocol. I would anticipate he's able to go for Philadelphia. I'd be surprised if he couldn't. Byron Young was also designated to return from IR with his hamstring injury, so Philly might be getting him back. One notable absence, of course, in this game is going to be Christian Watson. This one might really hurt Green Bay. We'll talk about it more in depth, but the Packers have struggled against man coverage. And I think, in general, if we operate under the assumption the quarterback is good, if you struggle against man, probably means it's a receiver issue. The guys aren't getting open against coverage. Struggle against zone might be a schematic thing. If we operate under the assumption the quarterback's good, Jordan Love very clearly is really, really good. I think they are missing a dude in the receiving core. When healthy, Christian Watson can be that guy, but he's now out for the year and maybe a good portion of next year, unfortunately, with the knee injury. That could be a massive loss for Green Bay. So honest answers here. Who you got in this one? P for the Packers, E for the Eagles. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. It's a pinned comment, so if the ad comes here on the YouTube side, at least on the Chat Sports side, Packers side, you don't have any ads. P for the Packers, E for the Eagles. Let's talk keys to victory. Number 1, and again, this is more on the Packers focused side. Josh Jacobs has to find success. Although if you're an Eagles fan watching on the main channel, just then it's the opposite. Stop Josh Jacobs. Jacobs has been really good this year. It's also fun to see a guy that really wasn't ever deployed as a pass catcher be more involved in that area. And he's finally got the pass touchdown or receiver touchdown that he's been searching for such a long period of time. This is an awesome football player. I really love what Matt LaFleur does with his offensive designs. And I think in particular, that really comes through with what he designs and cooks up in the ground game. There's a lot of pre-snap motion. There's a lot of eye candy, and that works well on the ground. It can get the linebackers and safeties going the wrong way and get them pulled out of position and hit some big plays. So I bet you'll see a lot of that for the Jacobs and the Packers on the ground. On the flip side, Both of these teams spent money on running backs, and it's paid off pretty well so far for both of them. Saquon Barkley, in a year in which you've got like Jamar Chase is a really real candidate for Offensive Player of the Year / MVP, you make the exact same argument about Saquon Barkley. He hasn't been as involved in the receiving game, 278 receiving yards this year, but he did go for 2,000 yards on the ground rushing. And they didn't play the final game of the season, which, it's still 16 games, but still, he has been awesome. And I do think Saquon will be better with the return, we assume, of Jalen Hurts. When you have Jalen Hurts out there, it adds another dimension to the running game. Not to mention the tush push has been pretty much unstoppable for the brotherly shove, if you want to call it that. It's easier for teams to focus in on, hey, they can't pull the ball with the quarterback and run. Oh, now you gotta keep contained. And that kind of takes a player out of it because there's always that threat of Hurts pulling it and keeping it. Stopping the Eagles' ground game is not easy. And that will be one of the biggest tests for Green Bay in this particular matchup. Today's show is made possible by Game Time. Game Time has a new feature. It's called Game Time Picks. It makes getting tickets for events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to only show you incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets to find the best value. It is curation to make it easier to find that better value on tickets, sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. I would always advise toggling the all-in pricing feature on. It shows your total cost up front, so you don't, planning, this is only $100 and all these price fees. Shows the total cost at checkout for you. The Game Time guarantee is this. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Download the Game Time app, create your account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. But again, create your account, redeem code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today for last-minute tickets, the lowest price guaranteed. I've already kind of mentioned it. I would fully anticipate, you saw it against the Vikings when they really struggled against man coverage. I would anticipate the Green Bay Packers face a lot of man coverage against Philadelphia. They've overhauled their cornerback room. Mitchell and Slay and DeJean is a good trio. I bet the Eagles play a bunch of man coverage. And Jordan Love is a good quarterback. Jordan Love is accurate. He makes some good decisions for the most part. I don't think he's been as good as I know he wasn't as good as he was down the stretch last season. That's not to say he's been bad. This is a very, very talented football player at quarterback. How they get the ball to their playmakers is going to be a question mark. Now, they've got 4 different receivers, not including the injured Christian Watson, who are up over 400 yards this year and have almost 40 catches. Dontavian Wicks, got to stop dropping passes, man. You got to make plays when the ball comes your way. Romeo Doubs did the weird one-game suspension stuff. It's been fine beyond that. I bet it'll be a big game for Tucker Kraft, and I bet you see Jaden Reed running around in motion a lot. And he's been good this year, but there has been some inconsistencies to this pass rushing group overall, especially when the Packers face man coverage. Now, as a reminder, we will be live for Packers versus Eagles on both the Chat Sports YouTube channel and on our Packers YouTube channel. So whichever platform you're watching on right now, hit that sub button, and you'll be notified immediately when we go live. Number 4, key to victory, the Packers pass coverage has to step up. You're not going to have Jair Alexander. This is a sizable red flag for Green Bay because I think in general this Packers team, I was talking to one of my buddies who's a huge Packers fan. Me and I are in agreement. They're missing one dude at receiver and one dude on defense. And Alexander Watson could be those guys, but they're out. A.J. Brown's got 1,000 yards this year despite some issues at one point midseason with Jalen Hurts, I feel like. Devonta Smith almost got to 1,000 yards despite also missing some time being banged up. So I would guess you're going to have Carrington Valentine on AJ Brown / Devonta Smith, and then Keyshawn Nix is going to be the other one. Valentine's been a nice find for the Packers out of Kentucky. A late round pick, 2 interceptions this year, good impact. Keyshawn Nixon is undersized, but every time he gets a chance, he seemingly steps up and makes some plays. But this is one of the best receiver duos in football. So I've been very impressed by the different looks that Jeff Hafley's thrown at opposing teams this year. The Eagles in general, they attack the outside. They don't really go over the middle very much, the same way like the Vikings might try to do. So how those outside corners hold up is going to be a big deal. Give me your score predictions here of the Packers against the Eagles. Let me know in the comment section of today's show. Number 5, key to victory. You just have to repeat last year's upset. As I'm sure many of you know, I host our Cowboys Report channel. That is a traumatic experience for me, but it did happen. Do it again, Green Bay. That's all you have to do. Just attack with the play actions and the vertical shots and big chunk plays, and then get the run game going as well. This is a great opportunity for, I think, one of the better coaches in the NFL, Matt LaFleur, to play the most valuable card you can play, the nobody believes in us card. That card works well. Now, it sometimes works better in college. Nick Saban never got to play it. Every time he did, it worked. Kirby Smart played it a bunch, even when they were coming off a national championship season. They got his players to believe no one believes in us. It works. Green Bay wants to win. Use that no one believes in us underdog mentality, which Philadelphia knows oh so well from their Super Bowl run, and it can lead to good results in the end.